I was this endless seeker trying to find my sense of home and love and safety. And what I learned was that home was within me.
Welcome to Intuition Unlocked, the podcast empowering empathic women who feel misunderstood, overwhelmed, or disconnected from their intuition, begin to trust their sensitivities, find inner clarity, and show up with embodied, unstoppable confidence in their daily lives. I am your host, Olivia Ashley, an empath and intuitive, and I am so happy you're here.
Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the podcast. Have you ever felt a deep, unspoken knowing guiding you, yet hesitated to trust it? What if embracing that inner voice could lead you to your truest, most authentic self? I'm your host, Olivia, and today we're diving into a topic that's close to my heart and going to help you with exactly that: the transformative power of intuition. We'll explore how tuning into your inner wisdom can be the foundation of self-discovery, empowerment, and living a life true to you. In this episode, we'll discuss the essence of intuition, understanding at its base level what it is and how it can serve as your inner compass. Secondly, I will share more about my personal journey, why intuition is so front and center for me, why I find it to be this truly transformative aspect that you can tap into and anyone can use. And lastly, some practical steps that will help you reconnect with your intuition so you too can navigate life with confidence and authenticity. So again, welcome. I am always grateful you are here pressing play and showing up for yourself, because every day is a new day and you could always make a choice to alter your path, make a difference, or choose in a different way. And you are setting your intentions around what would you like and how do you want that to be. So it could be positive, could be negative, could be neutral, but with every moment, every decision, you are affecting and laying the path for your life ahead. And to help you with making those decisions and creating your path, I see intuition as being an important and core aspect of living a life that feels truly authentic, fulfilling, supportive, creative, and driven by your truest self, your heart. So let's talk about reconnecting with the most profound part of ourselves, our intuition, by getting to know intuition a little bit more. This inner knowing has been guiding you since birth, and yet many of us have learned to silence it. At its essence, I see intuition as being the subtle inner voice that offers guidance beyond logical reasoning. It's that gut feeling, the inner nudge, the sense that something is right or wrong, or to do this or that without clear evidence. Because on a scientific level, that's exactly what it's here to do. It's another sense that has really been trained to assess, take all the information you have really at a subconscious level and give you what it thinks is that best right next step for you. So hence that nudge, that gut knowing. It's a very primal sense that has built into each of us, and yet we often dampen it or see it as not real. Yet I see this as completely real, and there is so much evidence to back that. And for women, I see intuition as being one of the most important things you can learn, you can connect to, and embrace in your life, because you are a sensitive being. You are deeply connected to that divine, the creator, the mother, to fertility, to energy, to opening, to the ancient, to nurturance, to compassion, to wildness, to nature, to holism, just all these things that we are innately attuned to. All of us are going to be on a spectrum and have different aspects that are more enhanced versus not. And yet that is at its base energetically what we've come with. And we can access and use our intuition, this sixth sense, to help us trust and get profound insights and decisions to be the leaders of our life, to be the leader of ourself. And I find that to be so incredible, that intuition, something you already have. It's not missing. You don't have to pay for it. It is in yourself. It can be the channel, the voice, the knowing, the best friend, the therapist, the container that will help you step into your life, into the flow, into the confidence and courage. It is huge. It is momentous. And yet your intuition is quiet. It's subtle. It doesn't typically yell at you. And so you have to be listening. You have to be noticing. And it's a beautiful dance. And it's so overlooked and even looked down upon. And that is what breaks my heart. And yet, why I am so adamant to sit here and talk about it and learn it and experience and help you better understand, because it is possible to tap into and utilize. Many say it's not real or practical or science. Maybe it's magical thinking. And yet there is a truth behind it. There's a role of intuition, like we talked about, from a psychological and a scientific standpoint. And yet I really find that you don't need to fully understand the mechanics behind it. I know I myself don't. I see experiences and your own truths as being just as valid as what research or science is saying. Because most of my own background and many of those in my sphere learned of their intuition, of their psychic mediumship, of the connection, the energetics, the possibility that is inherent through this portal of energy and senses by using it from experience, personal experience. And no two people are going to have the same experience. It's going to be unique how your intuition shows up, in what ways it talks to you, who is showing up through your intuition, what guides are there that are wanting to connect to. Maybe you're really connected to animals, maybe it's plants, maybe it's the stars. There's so many different ways that your intuition, once it's become enhanced, it's going to open up the doors that you need to know and connect to best support you and your life in this moment. So trusting the experiences you have, trusting that you don't need to know it all. And I see intuition as being a felt sense. It's something that is deeply personal for each and every one of you. And you will have to learn what, in which way does it show up? Do I work with it? Do I hear it? Do I know it? And how to implement it in your day to day. Yet I also see that there's quite a bit of those bigger themes and practices and lessons or understanding that I can impart through my experiences, or you can learn from others. So it is this beautiful individual practice, but that's built here to bring community. It wants to be shared, it wants to be announced and nourished, because it helps not only you, but others when you are working with your intuition. And that's why I want to share a little bit about my own personal journey with intuition and truly the transformative power of it. Learning to listen to and to use my intuition has been nothing short of transformational. It has become the anchor and the sails of my ship, guiding me through the darkest waters of my life and propelling me toward a future filled with clarity and purpose, and yet grounded and supported and trusting. This podcast and the work I share with you today and every week through these episodes was born from a darkness that once terrified me. A darkness I was so ready to let consume me and end me. But instead, at a certain point, I chose to face it. I chose to say, this isn't me. This isn't my truth. I know that this is my damaged self and my protective aspects coming forward to let me maneuver through my days. And yet it is crippling me. But I will not let that go any longer. Back in that time when I lived in the shadows, I was gripped by fear and worry and truly a relentless inability to trust myself or anyone else. And I actually thought that that was something to be proud of. look at me all hard and edgy that, oh, I don't even trust myself or others. I'm guarded. I'm jaded. I am the wild rebel, and you won't tell me otherwise. I really clung to that being something that was attractive and interesting and mysterious. And yet, I learned eventually that that was so misguided. I was doing my best to play a part to make me feel whole and strong, when in reality, it was just a mask that was an illusion. And back then, I could not make a decision to save my life. So that gut voice was not showing up. Or if it was, I had no sense of what was up, what was down, left or right, yes or no. I just was stuck. I overall sought solace in numbing myself from the discomfort and the uncertainty of my life that I felt. I had a deep confusion around why I'm here, who am I in any moment, what should I be doing, how do I love myself, why do I love myself, all these really big, heady questions that I just simply couldn't ever find. And like, how do I do this? How do I take the next step? How do I find the path for me? How do I find my purpose? And none of that got me anywhere. I was this endless seeker trying to find my sense of home and love and safety. And what I learned was that home was within me, but that didn't come for a while. And so when I was deep in that searching, that seeking, I finally, around end of college, started to sit in the depths of my pain and go, no more. No more can I exist in this plane. No more can I feel this way. No more can I second guess and avoid my life. I am going to live. I really had to start surrendering. While I did not change many of the habits or the things I was doing to numb, I started to change my outlook. And I think that was the first shift because I kind of began praying, to be honest. Not that I knew I was doing it, but I knew it was almost like I needed something outside of me to be a mirror, to show me the way back to myself because I could not find it. And with that, slowly but surely, I began to notice some small nudges like, go see this band and listen to this music, go eat this instead of that. Stop going out, stay in at night and just relax and get some things done. Those are nothing huge, but at the time, nothing was huge in my life. I was existing. And I would feel these subtle whispers to pick a certain book at the bookstore, to begin journaling again when I had run from it because I didn't want to face the shadows that I knew were in my heart. And if I wrote, I know I would have to write about it all. And so for a long time, I refused to write, which was so not me. And I started to pay a little bit more attention. And so these aspects got a little louder and a little clearer, and I felt lighter. That's the best way to describe as I began asking intentionally for help, for insight, and I was becoming a little bit more spiritual, I would say, just through the music I was listening to. I was starting to meditate. I was doing yoga a little bit more. And yoga has such a mind body awareness piece that it let me begin to find that home within myself before I truly understand that's what I was doing. And then what really catalyzed me to the next level of full blown intuitive sense coming online was becoming pregnant with my first child. Knowing I was becoming a mother made me realize that there was a being who's solely going to depend on me and my relationship to myself. I had somewhat of a flash of my relationship with my own mother and my sister and how wrought and tense and just not supportive that was for many years. And just looking at myself in the mirror going, I would never want to watch my own daughter have to walk through the things I chose. And thus, I must change. I will change. And it gave me the push that I needed. Again, like I said, I needed something external. I felt to be that mirror for me when I was so unwilling to look. And my daughter became that. It was purposeful, it was unexpected. and I was no way prepared. And yet I think it was one of the biggest blessings I've ever had in my entire life and might ever have. I trust beautiful things will still happen, but my intuition announced itself when I was pregnant. It came forward. I heard things I never heard. I felt the support, the love, and I began to really uncover the damage I had done and the damaged walls that just needed tending. I just see this house and then it's surrounded by this brick wall, but it's got ivy and mud, and some of the bricks are cracked and falling. And at that time, being pregnant, nothing else mattered. My whole world around me somewhat stopped outside of my job and the aspects of taking care of myself. And it let me just go completely silent and only focus on me and my coming daughter. And there was tons of synchronicity and things that happened that came through both the physical, but also through my senses, and I never went back. Yes, I had to do tons of healing work. It has been 9 years since that moment, and yet every month, every year built upon that decision back then to say, I will no longer be stuck in that darkness. I can touch it, I can face it. I still touch it, I still face it. I can also then go, I know how to take care. I know how to get help. I know what I need and where to adjust because I have this intuitive sense and force that will never let me down. It is here for me. Motherhood was the catalyst for me. You might have your own catalyst if you aren't connected to your intuition, or maybe you are and you can look back and find what was that thing that just opened you, that took it to the next level. Maybe you were always somewhat connected to your intuition, but then something happened or an aha came, or you went and traveled somewhere and had an experience that adjusted. And I say this because, at least in my experience, I think the majority of us in this time and space where we are as a collective need a catalyst to wake up, need a catalyst to remember this ancient, wise, deep, innate power within each of us that is always there, but we're taught to let it slumber. We're taught to not acknowledge or bear witness or to even utilize it. Like, what is that going to bring? Oh my gosh, why are you saying that? You're so impractical. Your head's in the clouds. And yet, I am a force to reckon with. And it's not because egotistically I sit here and feel so high and mighty. It's because I know my truth and my inner darkest self and my most light, full, excited self. And I've become someone I am truly proud of. I am authentic and I'm constantly assessing and growing and asking for ways to continue to improve, to serve, to support, and to trust where I am in each moment. The inner journey is not just about personal transformation, it is so much bigger. We are living in a time of great challenges, of upheaval, of crumbling, of darkness, of duality, of death, of war, of overwhelming aspects that is human nature. And yet, intuition is this ancient whisper echoing through the chaos, urging us to find our way back to ourselves. It is deep, it is strong, it is asking us to turn away from consumerism, from escapism, from the illusions we wear to mask our truths, from whatever you're struggling with in your days. It's a call to return to the essence of who you are, to the truth of your heart, to the connection to nature outside and within, and the power we hold when we are in alignment with our authentic selves. So when you listen to your intuition, you reclaim your truth and your power. You get to stand rooted in empathy and compassion and in wholeness. And it's not the end all be all. Intuition is not going to absolutely radically alter everything else in your life. That is up to you. But your intuition is a compass that you can refer back to, you can lean on, you can ask for support of. so you can navigate your life in a way that feels an alignment for you. So, will you welcome this new peace and this possible community and open your door? Use intuition as the key to unlock your journey ahead because I see it as being a light that is going to help guide us in and through the darkness of both our own inner selves, but our external realms and the collective. So we more deeply call and anchor in a life of purpose, joy, and connection because we get to choose that. We create our lives from within. It starts with us. So, practical steps you can take to begin reconnecting with your own intuition is firstly starting to face your shadows and fears. You don't need to know everything. You don't even need to know exactly what they are. But embracing intuition also means confronting them because these are the parts of us that we often avoid, and we can't always step forward or have clarity around what's next or what our truth is when we have these heavy, energetic weights, such as a fear or a shadow or an old belief that we're operating from that just isn't even our truth anymore. So, learning to acknowledge them, do body work like somatic therapy, yoga, meditation, working with a therapist, or talking with your friends, having a circle to be able to see them, integrate them, know them, and transform them, change the belief, change the subconscious programming, change how you are going to show up when you face the things that trigger it. It will help you open up to new possibilities and also your intuition to become more loud. Secondly, quieting the mind is huge. In our busy lives, it's essential to create space for stillness. I know as a working mom, as someone who's running a podcast and taking clients and supporting them through their own journeys, it is so hard to be able to find time to say, I need to drop in, I need some support, and just to come back to myself, especially if you're also an empath. We're highly sensitive and we need that support. So it's essential to create space for stillness so you can start to hear and listen and have access to your inner voice. So I really like to dedicate time in the morning and at night to do just a really simple 5 minute, sometimes more, depends what I can give, practice. I don't put too much restrictions around myself, but just take a breath, settle in, pull a card, write a page in my journal, or meditate and ask some questions and drop in and see what the answers are. So that brings me to reflecting and journaling will always be top of mind as well as offerings I'm going to give you. Journals are my favorite thing to gift anytime for birthdays, holidays, anytime I feel like someone needs just a little upliftment. It's a beautiful practice, and maybe you don't like writing, so type it on your computer, say it out loud, and record yourself. But you need to have that internal dialogue that is expressed outward. You can write down your thoughts, your feelings, experiences. You can get really specific with it and ask deeper questions, such as what does my heart desire? What feels true to me? What messages my intuition have to share with me? And just play with it. This should be fun. This should be supportive. And I like to try to journal 1 page a night. Reality is it's probably 3 to 4 pages over the week, but do try to have some sense of consistency because it's going to build on itself. Another practical step that can help you is engaging in anything creative. Creativity opens a channel to your intuitive self and to your heart, to the energy around you. And this could look like any activity, really anything you do intentionally where you're baking, crafting, creating, writing, building, expressing, moving your body, thinking, singing. I mean, there's so many ways to be creative, but this intentionality is what makes it specifically a creative activity. You have an intention of why you're doing it, just to allow yourself to explore, to open up and create without judgment because it gets the energy moving. It allows you to tap in, you go into that zone When your focus really just kind of drops in, you go into that subconscious mind, into that state where it's a flow state. And that is going to really help you be able to hear your intuition. It silences your mind and also just get excited. That joy, the work that goes into being creative allows this exchange and that doorway of intuition to crack open even more. Another of my favorites is seeking solitude in nature. This could be a walk, it could be looking out a window. Nature has a grounding effect that will put your body into a state of homeostasis. There's lots of negative ions, especially when you're around trees or water, and that's helping to reset your energetic and physical body. There's so much research and science behind how it reduces stress, how it makes you sleep better and overall feel better. And so, spending time outdoors, observing the natural world, and listening to the messages it offers is going to help so much. Lastly, and most importantly, living intentionally. When I say living intentionally, I truly mean setting intention and choosing to intentionally decide where and what you put your energy behind each and every day before you do an exercise. Set an intention of what and why you're doing it. Before you go on your drive, set an intention for it to be relaxing and joyful. Or before you step into a meeting, set an intention to be clear and speak clearly and connected with my heart. Just setting an intention behind anything you're doing is going to attract the energy of what you're intending. It becomes a beautiful dance of asking and receiving, and your body settles into that frequency of whatever intention you are setting. So if any of those practical steps caught your eye or made you think like, that sounds interesting, follow that nudge, follow that ping, and begin to implement at least one of these things into your life if you're not doing so already. And remember, your intuition is a powerful ally. By embracing it, you embark on a journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and authenticity. So trust yourself, honor your inner voice, and step boldly onto the path that's meant for you. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who might benefit from reconnecting with your own intuition, and let's spread the love, the joy, and support each other on this transformative journey of life. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, trust your inner wisdom and embrace the path ahead.
Thank you for joining me on Intuition Unlocked. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of insight, guidance, or intuitive inspiration. To dive deeper into our community and get access to exclusive content, head to my website at www.olivia-ashley.com and subscribe to my newsletter. You can also connect with me on Instagram at wildlyolivia for daily inspiration and updates. Remember, your intuition is your superpower. Trust it, nurture it, and let it guide you. Until next time, I'm Olivia Ashley, and I can't wait to connect with you again.